July 9th, the Ministry of Commerce and 9 other departments jointly released the issue. Opinions on accelerating innovation and development in the retail industry. I believe this is a very important document because it could change a consumer common sense that has lasted for decades. Buying online is definitely cheaper than buying things offline. After all, when it comes to retail, over the past 20 years, almost always dominated offline play. There are many reasons, but the most fundamental one, just 2 words: cheap. This time, 9 departments intervened simultaneously. They directly targeted the 3 mechanisms behind the low prices in e-commerce: tax evasion, reduced distribution, and mandatory subsidies. Once these 3 blocks are blocked, many products are sold at low prices online. It might not be sustainable. So, whether you run an online store, run a physical store, or shopping online every day, this document ultimately has an impact. It's all your money. What exactly has it changed? The usual rules. I'll try to make it clear in a video. Of course, the following content. This is my personal interpretation based on the documents. This does not represent official opinion. It may also not be entirely accurate. If there are any omissions or inadequateness, feel free to add your thoughts in the comment section. No more talk. Let's get started. 1. Low prices online. Why? Have you ever thought about things online? Why is it usually cheaper? That's because there are actually 2 types of cheap e-commerce options. One is the efficiency that brings real affordability. The other is fake cheap products made by grey mechanisms. First, let's talk about how cheap it is. In the past, a bag of chips came from the factory to your hand. It must go through distributors, wholesalers, and retail stores. Each floor you pass adds an extra layer of cost. E-commerce has compressed the middlemen. Factories open online stores. This allows you to sell products directly across the country. Fewer steps naturally lower prices. This affordability comes from efficiency, which is certainly a good thing. But the other low-price segment is less attractive. For example, tax evasion, opening offline stores, taxes and fees, social security. None of them escape. In the early days, some online stores, yet these costs can be overlooked. The same product. Others include tax in the price you didn't count. Then of course you're cheaper. Another example. E-commerce up goods. Some products look like this. It's exactly the same as the offline one. Name, picture, model. It's all the same. But on the back, copper wire was replaced with aluminum wire. Replace pure cotton with mixed cotton. Similar questions, and often saw them not wearing shoes. This is not more efficient, but bad money drives out good. There are also mandatory subsidies from platforms. Annual shopping festival. Platforms all provide subsidies. The items are indeed cheap, but who is paying for this discount? The platform said the subsidy was 10 yuan. Maybe I only contributed 3 pieces myself, yet merchants are forced to offer a 7 yuan discount. The seller said, "Is it okay if I don't participate?" All right. It's just that you don't have traffic, no business. The store's authority will also drop this low price. Essentially, it's the merchants who are forced to pay, so it's also cheap. The logic behind this is completely different. Some save the intermediate ring, some are dodging costs, hide away, or they passed it on to someone else. The first is truly cheap. The latter is fake bargaining. And this document is responsible for management, not the low price itself. These are precisely the 3 mechanisms that create fake cheap prices. How exactly should it be managed? Let's continue reading. 2. Online store tax evasion. How to manage it. Article 15 of the new regulations. Let's take a look at the original text. No need to read the whole thing. The key point is this sentence. Lawfully enforced in accordance with the profession. Tax-related information for internet platform enterprises. Submission regulations. Promoting both online and offline channels. Retail business entities pay taxes fairly. What is this regulation for? The name sounds complicated, but the logic is simple. In the past, why is it hard to check e-commerce taxes? Tens of millions of online stores standing all over the country. The tax authorities can't go through every household, check every household. Now, regulators have taken a different approach, no longer chasing after online stores. Instead, they directly found the platform. Because each store sells a certain amount of goods, how much money was collected. The platform sees it clearly. Therefore, platforms must comply with regulations. Report the merchant's tax-related information to the post. Failure to report as required. Then hold the platform accountable. Last year, Pinduoduo was fined for this incident. This move is indeed very clever. Who holds the data best? Whoever is responsible for reporting the data. As a platform, you can't just take benefits without taking responsibility. You see, the country doesn't need to go door to door shouting. Online stores are not allowed to collect taxes. Even if you shout, it's hard to control. As long as the platform makes the accounts clear. How much tax should online stores pay? It was clear at a glance. The cost advantage of the past savings from tax evasion. Naturally, there was none left. Next, let's look at Articles 13 and 14 of the new regulations. 2 key points. Article 13. Encourage same-type products and models. Online and offline use the same standards and quality. Article 14. Focus on rectification, false advertising, and other behaviors. To put it bluntly, these two rules cover the same issue. Don't charge all at once, passing off the base version as a high-end version. You might think that treating this is not easy. Just check, found one, send one. But this matter is really not so easy to investigate, because base configuration does not mean unqualified. A single product can have high-end versions. There is also a low-end version. However, the truly difficult part is, have the merchants informed consumers of the real situation? So I understand. The main focus of this regulation is, it doesn't bother with whether your product is low spec. It depends on whether you pass off the lower trim as the higher trim. The base version can be sold, but it must be clearly communicated to consumers. This is the base version. You can't carry a high-end name, images and parameters, but what they ship is low-end products, and you can't sell a full set online, selling a set offline. But they tell consumers this is the same model. Once it can no longer be hidden from consumers, those low prices earned by quietly downgrading features, then he couldn't stand his ground. Actually, this is how it should be. It's not just about protecting consumers. After all, if even major brands are forced into research by low-price competition, how to downgrade features so they don't get noticed, then the competitive direction of Chinese manufacturing will go astray. Everyone is fighting hard. It's no longer about anyone who can make the product better. It's about who is better at cutting corners and is even more adept at false advertising. Block the path for AB goods. Only then will companies start competing for new products. Compete on quality. Compete for true value for money. This is the more important meaning of uniformity and standardization. 4. Platform subsidies. Who pays the bill? Finally, let's look at Article 14 of the new regulations. The key point is this sentence. Platform operators are prohibited from forcing or covertly forcing merchants to bear subsidies, participate in promotional activities, passing on promotional costs to merchants. This sentence is a bit long. Anyway, in plain terms, it's just like that. Platforms can provide subsidies, but you can't force the merchant to pay for you. You might ask, so maybe we won't be allowed to hold shopping festivals in the future? No more low-price promotions? Of course not. Some promotions are indeed real financial subsidies from the platform. Some price cuts are also voluntary concessions by merchants. These are all really cheap. It cannot be cut off in one go. So this time, the new regulations are not about low prices. It's about whether the subsidy is actually being paid for. Do merchants have the right to say they have no rights? The platform wants to implement the 10 billion yuan subsidy. Yes, you can. But the platform is funding. Then the platform has to pay for it themselves. Merchants cannot be forced to participate in the back end. And you can't just because the merchant doesn't participate. They just downgrade their power and cut off their traffic. In the past, some were extremely low priced. It was not provided voluntarily by the merchant. It's the platform forcing traffic out of it. Now merchants can finally speak. This deal will lose money. I don't participate. Those low prices that are held up by forced force. Naturally, it couldn't be sustained. Don't take this too lightly. Profit is the foundation of a company's survival. Once profits are wiped out by round after round of big promotions, what do businesses use to pay employees? What can you use to upgrade the production line? Provide excellent service, leaving reasonable profits for merchants. It also leaves the Chinese supply chain with the capital to continue upgrading. 5. What impact does it have on you? Let's start with the business people. He wasn't trying to dismiss e-commerce, nor is it about raising prices simultaneously online and offline. It really needs to be squeezed. It's the low prices held up by tax evasion and AB goods. If you have a price advantage in the past from these grey spaces, then future business will only get harder and harder. But if you have the advantage, higher circulation efficiency, better supply chains, or truly competitive products, these advantages still exist. What it wants to clear out is not e-commerce. It's a business that survives on grey costs. Now, let's talk about consumers. How long will it take for the policy to be implemented? How effective is it? He still can't go off the show yet. However, there is a price difference between online and offline for some products. It may indeed get smaller and smaller. For example, branded home appliances, 3C Digital, some of their past extremely low prices from platform subsidies. In the future, platforms can no longer force merchants to pay. Such subsidies may be reduced. Online and offline prices. It will get closer and closer. Another example is large furniture. Customizing building materials. The same sofa. Sponge density. The board grade is a bit lower. The cost could be much lower. When the product is truly assigned, it must be made clear. Those low prices earned by quietly downgrading features. Naturally, it will also decrease, of course. And there are some other things. Online prices will still be cheaper. For example, small commodities produced in Yiwu or fruit directly from the orchard. These goods can be sourced directly from the factory, directly delivered to consumers. There are few intermediate links. Naturally, the price is lower. So the low prices brought by real efficiency are key. It will continue to exist. Low prices supported by grey market mechanisms will become less and less. Finally, a summary. Every time a policy regulating e-commerce is introduced, there are always some offline bosses applauding it. That's great. The country is finally going to crack down on e-commerce. I can really understand this feeling. They've been suppressed by prices for so many years. Everyone wants to breathe a sigh of relief. But this posture, I disagree. Of course, e-commerce has its problems, but one has created tremendous value. This also leaves many problems in the industry. What is needed is to be regulated, not being rejected. Over the past 20 years, e-commerce is racing ahead. It also endured a long and wild growth. Now it's time to add the rules. What remains is the efficiency created by e-commerce. What is being cleared out is the grey space left behind by wild growth. Only when the grey space is gradually smoothed out, fake bargains are discarded one by one. Those who revere the rules, people who take product development seriously. That way, you won't suffer losses just because you're honest. A good market, it's about making the bargains come with clarity. Make sure profits are cut off squarely. Follow you run, lowering the cognitive barrier for business.